Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty interesting, a unique approach to well-being called the 70-30 awakening method. The whole idea is that true wellness comes from a really specific balance between what's going on in our heads and what we're doing with our bodies. So let's get into it.
Okay, let me start by asking you this. What if there was a password, not for your phone or your computer, but for your own body? A kind of secret code you could use to reset a major communication line inside your nervous system?
So that big communication line we're talking about, it's the vagus nerve. Our source calls it the迷走神經. It's literally the longest nerve in your entire body, and you can think of it like this giant information superhighway. It connects your brain to, well, almost everything important. Your heart, your lungs, your gut. It plays a part in everything from your heart rate to how you digest your food. It's a big deal.
Now, here's the twist. According to the material we're looking at, it suggests that this super important nerve can sometimes get confused. It gets dysregulated and starts sending mixed signals all over the place. And that kind of misalignment, it can throw everything off, from your mood to your actual physical health. So if your main internal highway is all confused, what do? Well, the source proposes a really unique solution, a password, a specific phrase that's designed to help the nerve recalibrate and, as they put it, awaken.
And that idea of a password, it's just one piece of a much bigger framework. This is what brings us to the core concept here, the 70-30 method. It's laid out as a complete formula for getting back into balance.
And you can see right away how this formula is broken down. It's all about two parts. A huge 70% chunk is dedicated to what our source calls correct concepts. Then you got the other 30%, which is all about the material world.
Let's break that down a little more. The 70%, that's your inner world. It's all about your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, the whole landscape inside your head. The other 30%, that's your outer world, your physical body, your habits, your lifestyle choices, all the tangible stuff. Okay, so let's tackle the biggest piece of the pie first, the 70%. This whole part of the method is focused on getting those correct concepts in order. 70%. I mean, just think about that number for a second. That's a massive emphasis, and it's intentional. The source is basically saying that the heavy lifting for this awakening process isn't about what you do physically, but about fundamentally shifting how you think and what you believe on the inside. And to give this whole idea of philosophical anchor, the source points directly to Eastern philosophy. It literally says Buddhism represents the method of awakening. So this frames that 70% not just as, thinking positive, but as a much deeper practice of mental and even spiritual alignment. So what's the actual practical step for this 70%? It's surprisingly straightforward. The key action is to just repeat a specific 6-character password. And that password is the phrase Namo Amitabha Buddha. All right, so we've got the huge conceptual 70% covered. Now let's switch gears and look at the other side of the coin. This is the 30%, the part that's all about the tangible material world we live in. 30%. Now, it might be the smaller slice, but it's presented as absolutely essential. Think of it as the foundation. It's the physical support system, the fertile ground that you need for all that 70% of inner work to actually grow and stick. And what actually makes up this 30%? Well, it's the stuff you probably already know is important. The absolute fundamentals of a healthy lifestyle. What you eat, how you sleep, getting exercise, the environment you're in, and making sure you get sunshine, fresh air, and clean water. Okay, so you've got this 70% of inner work and the 30% of outer, physical work. Let's put it all together now and see how these two parts are supposed to combine to, well, unlock your well-being. So here's a really simple breakdown of the whole method. On one side, you have the 70%, which is all about your inner world, and the key action is repeating that 6-character password. On the other side, you've got the 30%, which is all about managing your outer world and lifestyle. The whole point is that you can't really have one without the other. They're totally interconnected. And that's really the key takeaway here. That 6-character phrase, Namo Amitabha Buddha, it's positioned as something more than just a chant. It's the unifying key. It's the password that's meant to integrate both the inner conceptual work and the outer physical world. And the final goal? The big promise? According to the source, if you diligently apply this 70-30 balance, if you combine that inner practice with taking care of your outer world, you can actually create a fundamental shift in your health and achieve that original goal, to awaken that confused vagus nerve. So after looking at this whole framework, this idea of inner concepts versus our outer lifestyle, it really leaves us with a pretty big question to think about for ourselves. Right now, where does your 70-30 balance lie?